Jaelyn, you have an incoming call.
Answer the call.
Hey, Jaelyn.
Hey, Ethan. How's your weekend?
I attended Mass this morning. It always centers me for the week ahead. What about you?
I stayed home. This morning I just did yoga and meditated for 15 minutes as usual. But my mind wouldn't settle.
Oh, it's unlike you. You've always been a dynamo. What's weighing on your mind?
A client situation actually. I have this client, Gary. After our last session, he messaged me on Instagram, asking me out to dinner. I shut it down immediately, but it's been stuck in my head.
You did right, Jaelyn. I'm glad you shut it down, but this raises some serious ethical concerns, I have to say.
I know. Well, I didn't encourage it. I don't know. I think he's misinterpreting our sessions.
Well, this is why boundaries are so crucial. I can't help but wonder, Jaelyn, was there something in your interactions that may have led him to believe this was acceptable?
I did what I had to do, like every therapist does. I was just being supportive, making sure he felt safe enough to open up.
For example?
He was so confused about relationships and I told him about mine, that I had a bad breakup.
Well, I figured. I admire your empathy, but empathy without boundaries can lead to confusion for both the client and the therapist.
You know, I'm not reckless with these things. I mean, clients can develop feelings, sure, but that doesn't mean I did anything wrong.
I'm not accusing you of wrongdoing, but I urge you to reflect on whether your approach could be misinterpreted. Gary reaching out to you in this way suggests he's become confused about the nature of your relationship. You know what I mean?
Ethan, not everything is as black and white as church doctrine. Sometimes clients need to feel that they're talking to a real person. Even though you're my supervisor, I'm sorry I still say that.
Thank you for remembering I'm your supervisor. Listen, I understand the desire for humanity in therapy, but remember, we are entrusted with their emotional and psychological well-being. Humility is knowing our place within the order of things.
Look, I respect your faith, but therapy isn't like religion. It's not a set of fixed moral codes.
Perhaps, but both therapy and faith involve responsibility. Jaelyn, in this case, Gary has clearly crossed a line, but we need to examine why that line was crossed in the first place. Did you perhaps allow him to see you as more than his therapist?
I was professional the whole time. I'm not new to this.
I believe you, Jaelyn, but I also know how easy it is to let things slip without realizing. Last month, the association's vice president, Marshall, was indicted for sexually assaulting a patient. Don't tell me you haven't heard.
Of course I heard. This kind of scandal in the industry is nothing new. It's just that the perpetrators are all cocky male doctors.
What I'm trying to say is, client's project, and sometimes we let them. Male or female, we're human, and it's flattering to be seen in a certain light. Did any part of you, even a small part, enjoy the attention?
Are you seriously asking me if I was flattered? Ethan, this is insulting.
I'm not trying to insult you, Jaelyn. I'm asking you to reflect. Sometimes we don't even notice how our feelings get in the way.
I can manage my feelings perfectly fine, but I can't control how his. And honestly, Ethan, sometimes your rigid adherence to boundaries feels more like avoiding real connection with clients. People don't fit neatly into ethical boxes.
You're right, which is precisely why we need those ethical guidelines to protect them and ourselves. Flexibility is important, but not when it risks ethical clarity. Please, take some time to think about this.
I will. Anyway, thanks for your time.